in 1980 or 81 in there, I was, at that time you could retire, you had to work for the city for 30 years, and you could retire after 30 years, no matter what age you were. So I retired, and I was 56 when I retired from on the state pension retirement. And my son and daughter at that time were already through college and everything. So I met my wife and I sat down and figured, I said, I'm going to run for mayor. And she said, you are? She said, oh. I said, okay. She said, okay. So I was with the city there of Tuscaloosa, and had a general that was the mayor at that time, and he talked me into running, and then he decided to run, and then I said, well, I was too late, I was running, so I ran and got elected. In Tuscaloosa, and Tuscaloosa was incorporated in 1819, and all these years, I'm Catholic. I've never been a Catholic elected to the city of Tuscaloosa for any commissioner or mayors. And I was the first one to be elected, the first Catholic to be elected as President Kennedy helped a lot when I ran that, kind of turned things around at that time, you know, this Al Smith before that was a Catholic out in New York, and he had lost the presidential election and elected Kennedy. And that helped me here, and I was elected, and elected 6 times after that, you know, so I've had a good career in the city of Tuscaloosa. People were, I'm bilingual, as you can tell by my accent in French and English, and I get things mixed up sometimes and talking, but I get to it, and everybody was betting money that I'd never be elected, and these guys are my friend now, and they says, I'll tell you one thing, says never bet against him no matter what. So I was very fortunate each time, but what you in politics is that when you're in politics, you're in politics. Don't just run and get elected and then lay off 2 or 3 years and then start campaigning or want to go back in. My philosophy was, I started a new thing in Tuscaloosa, and which I learned in Louisiana. I went from house to house and knocked on a door and asked people to vote for me. And my wife would work in my headquarters and fix the ads and everything for me. And I had these very little ads that I couldn't afford. The trend was that a lot of people, like this 86-year-old guy in Woodland Hills says, you know, he says, I'm 86 years old, and he says, nobody has ever asked me for the vote. He said, I'm going to vote for you as long as I live. He said, and that's the trick, that people want you to ask them for the vote. I don't care if it's your best friend. Says, would you please vote for me? And they want to be people, no matter what level, you got to treat them the same way. Like I entertained President Reagan here at one time, and we had him at the university and city and all that. Put him on the airplane at the airport, left that, and had to go on a garbage strike with the garbage workers over there. So that you go from the President of the United States in a matter of minutes. You've got to do that transition. You just can't sit up here and as mayor or in a position, especially as mayor or president or governor or some probate judge or something. You can't sit yourself on. It's easy to fall into a transition that I'm the mayor. You go somewhere, they put you up front. You sit at the head table. you go to a picnic or something, or outing, and people say, look at that, it's because he's married, he's up front, and this and that. And no, you always be the last one in line, go by everybody in line, shake their hand. And in campaigning, when you campaign with somebody, focus on that one person. You look at him and says, I'm Al DuPont, I'm running for mayor. Would you please vote for me? Shake their hand and look at him right now. Don't shake hand and let it come by, hey, Al, would you please vote? And you put that attention on the